Hello, and welcome to the lands of Aecathan. No professionals, no fancy tech, just a group of women playing an all-original game of Dungeons & Dragons. I'm Jeff, your game master, and there's a new religion rising at the Faelifiri Sanctum. Drooling. Their followers say it's the only path to salvation.
Oh, that's terrible. Salivation. Oh, Lord.
It was bad, but I laughed, so I don't know.
I know, right? I'm betrayed by my own laughter.
But it was terrible.
Yeah.
I will take that. Some genuine laughter, I will take that.
Leslie says nothing.
I wasn't
It's
expecting
for the
it.
best.
Probably.
Caught me off guard.
Probably.
People to me.
Well, let's quickly recap what happened in the last episode. It was quite a bit. All but 4 of the Jogravanan slaves are safe. Now comes the task of taking care of them, and that falls squarely on the shoulders of Aribell, Gwenlaryn, Tasha, and Zoreth. After hastily reconfiguring her enchanted mansion, Tasha prepared the house for all the refugees. Unfortunately, it turned out none of them speak common. So the heroes were forced to resort to miming their intentions. Arabell's healing moved the former slaves a step closer to trust, and eventually they managed to get them all into the mansion. Tef, the chieftain of the Firefly Oasis, went on the hunt both for some spare clothing and hopefully someone who could interpret, and found 12-year-old Nessus, who learned the Jogravanan language from his grandfather, who himself was a Jogravanan escapee. After a few missteps, the 4, Tef, and Nessus managed to get everyone cleaned up in clean clothes, fed, and bedded down for the night. A surprise multi-person message comes in from Obrus, although it doesn't work quite as planned. He reveals he's working on an advanced sending spell. A message to Aralahkis and Thunder's Edge gets his agreement to meet the 4 and their charges at the Faelifiri Sanctum the next day, and reveals a message of sorts from Athgar. The following morning, the entire large group take their leave of the Firefly Oasis, and they teleported to the Sanctum, where the living were immediately fed and sheltered, and the dead were brought back to life. Aralahkis arrived with supplies from Thunder's Edge, and teleported back a while later, taking the recalcitrant Cannath with him. That night, the 4 met with the High Curate and the paired leaders of all 4 temples for a dinner, and so the assembled clerics, paladins, and bards could hear the story of how so many slaves came to be rescued in the first place. The adventurers ended their day back in the mansion after reassurances from the powers that be at the Sanctum that the former Jogravanan slaves would be taken good care of, educated, and trained to live a life as a free individual of Aecathan. And that's where we pick up. I think it's probably safe to say, unless there's something that you particularly wanted to do before you slept, that you were able to take a long rest.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll pick up starting the next morning.
Lovely.
Well, I get up and I ask the invisible, or I put them back to birds. So
I figured since it was back to configuration 2.
Yeah, so I asked the servants to make the usual, coffee, pancakes, lots of bacon, and fruit for those who don't want bacon. And I make myself a cup of coffee and grab a plate of food and sit down and start thinking about all the things that need to get done, and I start making notes. Ugh, notes. And I wait for others to show up at the table.
Yeah,
I'll join her too.
yeah.
I expect Aribell at the temple for prayers, and then would probably be back by the time around that time.
Right.
So it occurs to me that some of the slaves that we freed might not actually be slaves.
What do you mean?
I mean, if I was an evil Jogravanan and I was annoyed with the goody-goody people who wanted to free my pets, I would send someone to make things difficult.
That's a clever thought.
It would have to be some that made it through before they opened the sand. So
Sure, possibly.
they tried to kill them. There wasn't any guarantee we would save them. So
Yeah, that's true. But I think we should talk to Boffin and see about interviewing all of the slaves to make sure that none of them are dangerous. And
Like the zone of truth?
yeah. And at least make all the people in charge of the sanctuary, or I'm sorry, the sanctum, aware that there could be foul people in our midst.
Which we didn't want to bring back, but we had no choice if they're ensconced
Oh,
with
of course. Yeah. So I think that's the first thing we should do today. And then I guess we should probably go see Tremane and tell him what we found out. And then we should probably go report to
Bonethane.
And then I think I should have a talk with my aunt and start working on the school, the orphanage. I don't think we really started that yet.
no, it was a discussion right before we left for the desert.
And also, while we are talking to Bonethane, I want to get him thinking about a freed persons bureau, because if we free more slaves, they're going to need places to live, someone to train them. They're going to need help getting started in this new way of life, and we can't just assume that the sanctuary is going to do all of it.
Right. The sanctum is not going to be able to be a waypoint for more.
Yes. But I assume that since we've freed some, that we're going to try to figure out how to free more, because, that's just kind of who we are. So we need to start preparing for that eventuality. And that's all the things I've thought of so far. But I've only had 2 cups of coffee.
Right. Those are important things. And then Arabell's sword, we're gonna have to see what the
Oh yes,
requirements are for that.
true. We can't leave before figuring that out.
Well, they have to have another vote.
Oh, well, after last night, when we proved that we had done some things, maybe that helped.
Hopefully, but if the dragons and Stroxamans weren't enough, I don't know if this would help much. But we'll see what they say. If they don't think it's time, then it must not be.
Hmm.
True. You got my vote, but
I appreciate that.
no problem.
Different ways to go, though. She said even if it passes, then it has to get on the schedule with the other to be made, and then it needs to be enchanted. And
Okay, it might take a while. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, all right.
They don't have them sitting in a closet, evidently.
Right. Just here's one. Let me
that
wipe
would
the
be
dust off
so
it.
Great. I mean, we brought them a holy weapon. Can't they just trade us?
I don't think that's how it works.
Oh, boo. All right, well, I'm going to go see Bothan. Oh,
Boffin.
that's what I said, Bothan.
Okay. No, it sounds like you're saying Boffin, like many Boffin spies died to bring us this information, and that's not right.
Oh.
It's B-O-F-F Boffin.
Oh, Bothan?
Yes.
That's how you say it? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Odo Boffin.
Okay. I'm going to go see Boffin. If I leave, does that mean that the spell goes?
No.
Okay.
No, it's up for 24 hours.
All right, good. So I will be back.
Okay, what are the rest of us gonna do then? I guess wait here.
I mean, you can come with me if you want, but
Well, I mean, we don't really have anything to do because we're gonna. Oh, we'll just wait. I'm good with waiting.
all right. So I go to find Boffin. Where do I find him?
In the Artist Temple, you are told by a novitiate that the High Priest is in his office. Come in!
Good morning.
Oh, well, good morning. You're up early.
I am. I had many thoughts as I was sleeping, sort of.
Ooh.
And one of them was that it's very, very possible that some of the refugees that we brought you are not what they seem.
Interesting. That's exactly what Cannath said. Sir Vathiel,
Okay.
the head of the Balmus Paladin Order? Oh, that's right. You didn't spend a lot of time here, did you?
I didn't. No.
He came up with the same idea, and we sent off a request for someone who is better at finding out that sort of thing than most of us here on the island. Someone who would come at it dispassionately.
Ah. Good.
We're anticipating the arrival of the High Guardian of Pharos from the
Ooh.
Citadel, who has agreed to come and be our questioner.
Oh, thank goodness. Well, that makes me feel better. All right.
It makes me sad to think that some of those people aren't really what they seem, and what life must you have had that you agree to pretend to be a slave?
The Jogravanans are not good people. They are horrid, sad people who live their lives very differently than we do.
Well, yes, but there are some here, myself included, who believe that that is only because they've never been given any other choice.
That is very true.
I've spoken with Father Dilbus, and we've both agreed that through compassion and music, we're going to try and reach these people and convince them that the way that they've known is not the only way, and in fact is the worst way, but there are better ways.
I think that's wonderful, and I hope it works.
So do I. I think it will. I've been working on picking out what music to play.
That's fantastic.
Eventually, I'm going to have to include your song, at least before we send them off to wherever it is they're going to make their new lives. Because they'll need to know.
About the good dragons?
Yes.
Yes, they will.
They'll need to know about dragons, period. I don't know if the temple has actually seen any dragons.
Oh, I don't know.
I have to say I hope not. Because the only ones they'd have seen would be the evil ones, and that's... I don't like the idea of those two factions working together.
Well, me either, but anything is possible.
I suppose.
All right.
So
Well,
as soon as High Guardian Marlowe gets here,
mhm.
we'll begin the formal interviewing.
Fantastic.
We're going to be present, although we're not going to be involved.
Mhm.
But I think between some keen perception and the Zone of Truth spell, hopefully we'll be able to figure it out.
I hope so. Well, we have to go report to Tremane and Lord Bonethane. And I need to start, and we have a few other errands that we need to run, but we will be back sometime soon,
All right.
just to see how things are going. And if you need us for any reason, please don't hesitate to use a sending spell.
Thank you. We will definitely do that if we have need of you, but I think we can manage for now, especially with extra help coming from the Citadel.
All right. Well, thank you. You've eased my mind.
Happy to.
Have a good day.
Travel safely.
Thank you. And I go back to the mansion and say, that's pretty much covered. Phew. And I explain all of the things that Boffin told me.
Brilliant.
Yes.
Very good.
Well, does anybody else want to do anything while we're here?
Do you want to wait before we leave, or we could go to
I think we can go.
Thunder's Edge and then come back,
Yeah, no, we could do that.
just to see if anything is found out before we head
To see Bonethane.
Because we have circles for all of the places, so that makes it a little easier, right, Zori?
Yes.
I'm sure we'll be in Thunder's Edge for a good portion of the day
Yeah.
by the time we see our friends. Check on
That's
the
true.
house and check on Zek and
Hmm.
wait for Tremane to be available for us.
I think we should go inside and tell them where we're going, and then, like, if there's anybody left at the inn. Or do you think we should just go?
I think we should just go. I told Boffin what we were doing.
Okay.
That way we'd be back soon.
All right. Do we want to go to the house? We probably should.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to go out of the mansion and cast my teleportation circle to Thunder's Edge. And I'm going to cast it as a spell. Ooh. As soon as I can find it. 5th level.
Yep.
Brilliant. Okay. Woo-ba-doo, woo-ba-doo, woo-ba-doo.
Woof. You find yourselves standing in your private teleportation chamber.
Man, that's swanky.
The air is noticeably warmer.
Yeah, I mean,
Otherwise, it's very quiet.
all right. Well, let's try to get a meeting with Tremane. And I guess we head out to the keep.
Should we check on Zek first?
Sure.
It's very early here.
Oh.
Inside the house, once you're out of the teleportation chamber, it is just starting to get light outside.
Yeah, let's not.
Oh. Well
Let's
then,
not.
I think we should leave Zek alone, but I don't think we can really set up an audience with Tremane yet either. Maybe we should just chill out.
For a couple hours.
Yeah.
Second breakfast.
Yeah.
Second breakfast.
More
I'm
coffee.
liking that.
More coffee.
Shall we go to the Wrath?
Yes. Let's go to the Wrath.
Is that
Is
okay?
Is that too early for the Wrath, or is that Jeff?
There
is
may
there
not be anybody in the dining room yet,
Oh.
but it's open. It's an inn. It's open
Oh.
24 hours.
Well then let's go.
Oh yeah, let's just go and then we'll see if anything is there.
We know how to turn the fires on.
Right.
With the coffee.
The streets are very quiet. Which route are you taking? Are you cutting through the inner enclave, or are you going around?
Whichever's shorter, probably.
Cutting through is shorter.
Yeah, that's fine.
The Rykeliad at the gate closest to your house look a little sleepy, but seem to perk up when they spot the four of you. And they both nod and smile as you walk through the gate.
Has everything been normal?
Everything has been very quiet. It's strange. But we've enjoyed it. We just enjoy it tentatively because we know that at any moment it will end.
Hopefully it lasts a bit longer.
Do you wish it known that you are back in town?
Yes. Please let Tremane know that we are back in town so that we can meet with him.
I will be happy to make certain that Lord Tremane
Oh, sorry.
knows that you have returned.
Oh, yes, sorry, dear.
He looks at his companion and nods, and his companion nods back and takes off at a trot toward the Lord's Keep.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Have a very pleasant day and welcome home.
You as well. It's a pleasant day for
Thank you.
Still, even in the inner enclave, it's very quiet. You are able to hear just the faintest sounds of people stirring in houses. Shopkeepers are just coming out to sweep their paths and opening shutters. And it's very still, but there is a scent floating through the air.
Is it baked goods?
Cinnamon.
We follow the cinnamon scent.
Oh, I wonder if
I want to.
their niece, right? Hugh and Sarah's niece. Wonder if her place is open.
We could look. But was she going to be a dining establishment for the evening? I can't remember.
You're not entirely sure.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
They were definitely going to serve dinner, but whether or not that was the only meal was never made completely clear.
Got it.
Put some of the baked goods in the morning.
Well, if not, we can always go to a bakery.
Yes, for sure.
Well, let's go to the Wrath first, and then if there's no baked goods there, we can always go get some baked goods. So we head to the Wrath.
The same treatment greets you as you exit the inner enclave, with both of the Rakeliad guards nodding and smiling at you. The Wrath is quiet. The overnight lights, like the overnight lamps, are still the only light.
I mean, we don't want to open it up too far. There's no way to get, food and stuff, so we don't want to
Do we hear cook in the kitchen?
Make a perception check.
There you go.
Mm, 24.
Faint grumbling and footsteps, the occasional sound of a pan on wood.
Do we smell coffee?
No.
That's on the bar side. It's not in the kitchen, right? If I remember.
Correct.
He usually puts hot water, though, in the window. Right?
Sometimes.
You want to start the fire, Zori, and I'll start the coffee?
Yep, absolutely. So I make a little fire.
I'll go over to the window, making enough noise that I won't startle Cook. Good morning, Cook.
Ah! You're not Oloric.
No, it's Aribell.
Oh. What are you doing here?
We got here earlier than expected. We were traveling. So. Can I start coffee?
Sure. He won't mind.
I didn't figure, but we know you're in charge.
Coffee's his business.
Okay.
Drinks are on him.
I start.
There's a slight Doppler effect to her voice. You get the idea that she's not stopping moving and doing everything.
She never stops.
No.
I'll put the coffee on and the hot water for tea. He'll know we're here. He'll sense that someone's behind his bar.
Probably about 15 minutes later, the door opens and Oloric walks in.
Welcome to the Ivorys Wrath. May I get you a drink?
Oh, good morning. Coffee would be great.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
I pour him a cup of coffee.
It's a bad combination of not awake and surprised. Pleasantly surprised. Don't get me wrong, but welcome back.
I mean, you know, we're here, we're gone, we're here, we're gone. That is how it is.
Understood. But still, welcome back, and thank you for making the coffee.
My pleasure. I checked with the cook first.
Oh.
So she didn't throw something at me.
Well, coffee's usually my responsibility.
That's what she said.
Yeah. So, have you time to sit and catch me up?
We can try.
I think so. I don't figure Lord Tremane is quite ready for us to visit him yet.
No.
I won't say he's not probably awake, because he probably is awake. He's not been sleeping.
Oh dear. That means he'll be grumpy.
He's gone past grumpy, from what I've heard.
Oh dear.
He's gone to lethargic and absent-minded.
Oh dear.
Essentially, obviously this is not for public consumption, but according to a certain friend of ours who finds these things out, Aralahkis has been taking on more and more of the duties of actually running the city.
Well,
Do we know why?
Pressed.
Despondent? Or do you think he's ill?
No one seems quite sure. All they know is that he's not sleeping, and his insomnia has reached what some have called a crisis state, in that it is inhibiting his ability to rule.
Maybe we should see Aralahkis before we see Tremane. And we saw him yesterday, though. He didn't mention
He
anything.
didn't mention it, yeah.
It's
Well-
not something that is being made public. I know because Wiggy knows.
Wiggy knows, then everyone knows.
Not this time.
Well, I would like to see him, though, and make sure it's not an outside influence.
Good idea.
Well,
Does Athgar know?
I have absolutely no idea. I have not heard anything from or of the young man in weeks.
I think Aralahkis is going to be the only one who knows the answer to that question.
Well, once we see Lord Tremane, we can make a determination if we should try to reach out again.
Well,
we freed a bunch of Jogravanan slaves. Magically transported them to the Sanctum for care and rehabilitation.
I did kind of mention that.
yes.
Oh, sorry.
Yes, I would
no,
like
I meant-
to know the full story.
Yeah.
If you have time.
Oh, yeah, we wouldn't know you had talked, right?
No,
That's true.
I'll say it. Oh, I sent a little message to let him know. But
Yes.
he doesn't know the full story.
No, I got the very broad strokes.
25 words or less.
It is inhibiting.
Yep.
Gwen, do you want to share your news, or would you like to keep that to yourself?
To what do you refer?
The
Or-
What we found there?
Oh. I found my family. Or my family found me. I guess I was there and they found me.
They
He-
found each other.
He reaches out and puts his hand over one of your hands and says, "That is amazing and wonderful news. I'm so happy for you. I know that
Ew.
that was a hole that you felt in your life that hopefully now will begin to fill."
I have a grandfather and uncle and cousin that I didn't know and that knew my family, like that knew my mom and my dad. So they have stories to tell me.
That's amazing. Well, at some point, if you feel like sharing, if it's not too painful, I would very much enjoy hearing those tales as well.
I'd be happy to.
Now, this is at an oasis?
Yes, the
So, I,
Firefly, right? Oasis? Is that what it's called?
Oasis. Yeah.
Just make that up.
I've never heard of such a thing.
So, about 3 days out in the desert, there is a little community of good people who have a magical supply of water that they use to help protect themselves, but also to barter with.
Sounds like a fairly advanced community.
Yeah.
3 days travel in which direction?
Annette doesn't know, but Tasha does.
I think it's northeast.
From Thunder's Edge, it would be west-southwest if you went directly.
Okay.
Southwest?
Yes,
Yes.
I think
Oh,
so.
okay.
Yeah.
Hold on, let me double check here.
I think you're right.
The Jogravanan temple is
southwest,
but we did not go there. We went
The Jogravanan temple is
southwest.
almost due south.
Okay. I guess I misunderstood that.
Yeah. Somewhere I have a map.
Sorry, I didn't mean to.
That's all right.
We learned more about a little bit about the other areas of Aecathan, which I think is where you traveled, right?
Yes, we learned about Western Aecathan.
Do you know how to get there?
Sort of. The people in the Oasis know how to get there. And they're connected to the people in Western Aecathan.
That's amazing. At some point, I would very much like to go back.
Well,
Just to verify that those that I met from there are well.
I think that can be arranged.
Yeah. So then we proceed to, before he's got to get to work, we just do a brief rundown of the story for the slaves. Brief rundown.
Okay. Slight revamp. The Oasis is due southwest of Thunder's Edge.
Okay.
And you don't know exactly where the temple is.
Right.
So,
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's not like we've been there.
Nope, I got you. I just thought it was north.
yeah, I just had to find the find the map of both so I could see how and where they line up.
So we're gonna tell him briefly before all
Oh.
the people start arriving.
So, wait. Does this oasis factor into how you rescued the slaves? Because I still haven't heard that story.
Yes, and that's what I'm gonna tell him.
Why were you out that far? It's not for fun one travels the God's Wrath.
Trying to figure out. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's okay.
We were trying to figure out why the Jogravanans have been so quiet.
The entire city has noticed.
Everyone seems to be on edge, but at peace at the same time. It's a very strange dichotomy.
I have to say, it has been a very strange time. I have had members of the army, I have had merchants, I have had even the occasional Rakeliad member stop in. And to a one, they all act as if they are deliriously happy and expecting to die at any moment. It is very, very odd. But I understand. It's the feeling that there is another shoe dropping. We simply don't know when.
It does make me wonder even more if whatever's afflicting Lord Tremane might be more than just Athgar. And they're just giving it time to...
I don't know.
That would be devious.
Yeah.
I've never known Tremane to show that kind of weakness.
Nor have I. But I would speak with someone who's been here longer than I have. Perhaps maybe even longer than you, Gwen.
I'm wondering how he reacted when his wife died, if this is similar, or if...
I would know that, correct?
You were pretty young when his wife died. You dealt mostly with Athgar at that point. So your knowledge of what Tremane went through and how Tremane behaved is sketchy at best.
And when I spoke with him privately before we left, he was not quite himself, but not to this level. I definitely would like to speak with him.
Yeah, I'm worried it's some sort of spell.
And then as Oloric has to step away, we stop telling the stories and tell it
Yeah.
again. And yeah.
He does move away after a few minutes to begin lighting the day lamps and
Right.
finishing the coffee and getting water for tea and starting to work on what passes for the continental breakfast at the Wrath.
Right. Well, we didn't really tell anything to that guard. We should probably go find Aralahkis.
Yeah, and
Mhm.
like some time alone with Tremane, if the three of you don't mind.
No, that's fine.
If he'll allow it, absolutely. We'll go try to find Aralahkis. Is it,
Well,
what time is it?
yeah, what time is it?
How long have you hung out in the Wrath?
Oh, at least an hour.
Okay.
Yeah, at least an hour.
So it's probably going on 8 a.m.
Ugh, we should just sit around for a little bit and
Yeah, wait
Eat.
until 9.
It's business hours.
Wait until 9.
yeah, we'll dink around until 9.
Okay.
Pick on everyone here. Wait to see if Wigilliam shows up.
It's
He
probably too early.
And if he knows we're here, he might avoid us after the Cannath incident.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, we should definitely tell.
Oh, yeah, if Oloric comes back.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
Is
Yeah.
he comes
Wiggy,
back periodically.
does Wiggy seem scared we might come back soon?
He has been of late strangely interested if anyone has seen you in town.
Gee, I wonder why.
Well, Cannath got back here yesterday, right? He went with Aralahkis, so Wiggy knows it's coming. Wiggy may have exercised poor judgment.
Oh, I'm shocked.
And
He
hired
hired someone to protect us while we were in the desert.
Oh,
And
no.
He neglected.
Who did
to
he hire?
Cannath.
some elf. I think- and not the most social person. We did not hit it
No.
off. We did not hit it off.
He and Gwen really didn't hit it off.
And he wasn't very pleased with Wiggy's explanation of the contract terms.
Yeah. He
was
didn't tell him who-
arrogant.
And he also Wiggy didn't tell him who he would be helping. He
It's
didn't tell
not
him we were the four.
It didn't go well.
To hear that Cannath and Gwen did not get along is probably the
He's an ass.
least surprising thing I will hear all day. And do not take offense at this, they are cut from the same archetype,
Mm-hmm.
except that you, Gwen, have become much more of a social creature. Cannath
Really?
is
In
comparatively.
comparison,
Cannath is a creature of solitude. Having to deal with other people makes him angry.
Yeah. Being followed and protected didn't make us very happy either.
I'm impressed you were able to detect that he was following you.
He didn't like that either.
He is very good.
And arrogant with it.
Justifiably so. If I wanted
I suppose.
If I wanted someone followed or assassinated, I would hire Cannath.
Well, that's what he did, and it did not go well. So we'll have to talk about that later.
This explains why Wiggy has been so concerned over your whereabouts.
Yeah.
Be sure to let him know we're in town.
I'm certain he already knows.
Hopefully he didn't run off on vacation.
I last saw him the evening before last.
Okay.
So he was here.
Well, Cannath arrived, like I said, back in the Edge yesterday, so he knows we're at least back from the desert.
Perhaps that may explain why Wiggy did not come in last night. Perhaps he was unable to walk.
I don't think
Oh
Cannath
dear.
hurt him, do you?
Not permanently.
Oh no.
Wiggy's had it rough lately. Makes me feel bad.
Well,
Yes, but most
You
of it
didn't
he
hurt-
has brought upon himself.
we didn't hurt him.
No, but Fiesta did. Not that long ago, I know.
That was not our fault.
Well, I mean, we did give him the idea to quit his day job.
His
And-
night job, you mean?
Night job, yes.
He chose to do that. He is an adult. He gets to make his own decisions.
Again, he is responsible for most of the situations he has found himself in. I think he means well.
He
Well,
does, which
he
is why we won't kill him.
Just doesn't execute his intentions well.
Think things through.
It was
Likely.
to be worried about us going into the God's Wrath desert. That was understandable as a friend. He just should not have done what he did.
Yep.
About 8:45, the door opens to the street, and you hear a familiar clumping footstep.
Aralahkis?
He comes wandering in, just walks right up to the table, grabs a chair from another table, sits down, grabs the closest cup of coffee, whoever's it is, and downs it.
And good morning to you.
Just
No
What's
such
up?
no such thing.
well, I look around at how many people are in here. Is it
A few. It's,
When we-
you know,
get back to your office? It seems like there might be things for us to discuss.
yeah. Not anything that was appropriate to talk about yesterday.
Well, understandable.
You had your stuff to deal with. I didn't want to pile more on your shoulders, but if you're here, you probably want to see Tremane, right?
Yes.
If
Yeah.
possible, I'd like a private audience with him.
More difficult, but I think I can swing it. There may be other people in the room, but I'll make sure they're at the other end. Best I can probably do.
Excellent.
His guard's a little overprotective these days.
I'm glad to hear it. You need breakfast, or we can head to the keep.
Oloric, you got coffee I can take? Of course. Take a mug. I trust you to bring it back. Cool. So he gets the biggest mug he can find, fills it to the brim, and starts sipping as he motions and walks out the door.
I'll follow.
Yep.
Sure will.
Well, it was good to see you all.
We won't leave without saying goodbye.
I would appreciate that. Good luck.
Thank you for
Thank
the
you.
Aralahkis slowly picks up speed as the level of coffee in the mug drops. Once he passes through the gates to the inner enclave, he seems to relax a little bit more and begins to talk. I haven't been getting a whole lot of sleep.
Sounds like you're not the only one.
Well, that's why I haven't been getting a whole lot of sleep. Since he's up, when he gets a bee in his bonnet, he figures I should be up too. And so, I'm sleeping 2 hours here, 3 hours there.
Do you think it's related to how quiet things have been?
Do you think it's related to where Athgar is or isn't?
Yes to both. And, unfortunately, I think it might simply be age.
How old is he?
He's in his late 60s.
Oh,
Does Athgar know?
I told him. It was another one of those one-sided sendings.
So he's prepared he could be recalled.
Tuh.
If he chooses to
I-
answer.
What
How do you get that from one-sided?
what happens if he doesn't? Could he name up you as proxy, or
I would probably take over as regent until such time as we get his ass back here.
That would be a precarious position.
To say the least. Fortunately, thanks to you all, I have a decent relationship with Lord Bonethane in Aermagh. So if necessary, I could request additional troops.
and if we didn't have elsewhere to be, we would be here at Aralahkis.
Oh, no, I know. I'm not looking to you to solve this.
No, I just meant you'd have our support in whatever you needed.
we have your back. It's only fair.
Appreciated.
How do you foresee this playing out? If he were to be incapacitated, would he step down or would he have to be removed?
I'm not the only one
I
at
can't-
court who has seen the decline. If the majority of the court were to come to me and say he's not capable of governing, we need you to step in.
Has that come up already?
A few.
Does Bonethane know?
No.
Do you want him to?
I don't know yet. I assume you want time with him so you can examine him.
I know you wouldn't trust the information to be messaged to Bonethane, but our plan is to go to Aermagh in the next couple days, so if there's anything you want us to take, I would hope you could trust us to do so.
Oh, absolutely. And then I'd know it would actually get in his hands.
And no one else's.
Right. But let's see if there's anything you can do for him.
I'm sure others have tried, but I would like to make sure there's no outside influence on him. I don't trust the Jogravanans.
I haven't been able to detect anything. No poisons in his meals. We've checked. No permanent spells on his person. We actually, under the pretense of cleaning them, got all of his magic items off him so that I could check. Without his items, there is no residual magic about him at all.
Has anyone tried removing curses?
I don't think so.
I can do that.
The priests have tried various levels of restoration.
Okay. Well, I can... Not that I'm more skilled than a cleric, but I'll do what I can.
Well, you may not be as powerful, but I'd hazard a guess that you're wiser than some of them. And I trust your motivation more than I trust a lot of theirs. Never know with priests.
Move by anyone to gain power through this?
There's the usual jockeying amongst the nobles, but nothing out of the ordinary.
Are there any major decisions coming up that Lord Tremane is meant to make?
No. Routine stuff. Usually the major decisions come as some sort of an emergency, and that's usually because of some sort of Jogravanan fuckery. But there hasn't been any Jogravanan anything for over a month now.
When did his decline start?
Before that. It's been very gradual. It took me a while to notice.
When we saw him last, he was obviously upset. But
Yeah.
did he have any similar reaction when Athgar's mother died?
That was a completely different reaction. It was nothing. He literally just sat for weeks. Did nothing, said nothing. Really ate nothing. He had to be fed. It's like he was just not there for about 3 weeks. And then he was there again.
You know where Athgar is, right?
No.
I think we know someone who does. If we have to go get him, we will. We will force him back if necessary.
Won't that be fun? Nothing we want more than a prince who doesn't want to be here.
Well, if his father, he'll do what's right.
He knows how bad it is?
I told him.
Well,
Like I said, I was another one of those one-sided messages because there was no response, but I sent a message and told him that his father was not sleeping. He was irritable. He's now past irritable to forgetful and muddled.
Did you tell him that there's a chance he could lose his seat?
No. No, because he won't lose his seat unless he's incapable of holding it, in which case I would be forced to step in as temporary placeholder until Athgar returns. But
Right,
only
did you
until he
tell-
returns.
Did you tell Athgar that you're starting to question his ability to lead?
He knows the process. He knows that if the leader is incapacitated in some form, that the successor can step in temporarily or permanently, and that a regent can be established if the successor is unavailable, but only as a holding measure. This was part of his education. He knows exactly how this works.
So he knows that his father is incapacitated, or potentially incapacitated.
He knows that he's headed that direction. He's not there yet, but he's moving in that direction, yes. I would assume.
Athgar is many things, but he's never been one to shirk that type of responsibility.
He's never been that, I would say that.
I'm not saying he hasn't been irresponsible at times,
Right. He wouldn't give this up.
but not where our clan is concerned.
Right. That's why I feel like he would come if.
Unless...
Do you get the impression that he doesn't want to return because he knows I might be here?
Okay, obviously something's happened that I'm not aware of. I would have thought you being here would be reason for him to return.
No, I don't think that's the case.
Well, shit. That
We
was
did
gonna
not
that was gonna be a bargaining chip.
That line of communication is not open right now.
What did he do?
He may have left because of me.
It's
I
a
don't know.
long story right now.
Yeah, and that's not that is a view of the situation. That may not necessarily be the whole situation. So.
At this point,
He was angry with me and left.
you have made it to Aralahkis' office. His adjutant is not at her desk yet. So he gestures for you all to come in and sort of collapses behind his desk. Well. I wish that wasn't the case. And
So
not
do I.
just because of this situation.
Why?
He didn't see it or didn't want to see it. I saw it. It would cause any number of problems, but Since when has that stopped love? So, if that's not there anymore, I'm sorry. That sucks.
Oh.
It's complicated.
Usually is. I will say this, though. I have a few more years of experience than most of you. Maybe all of you. I don't know. If it's real, there's always a chance to fix it. May be painful, may take a long time, but there's always a chance to fix it, if you want to.
I don't know. I've lost a lot of faith in those things.
Well, I want to preface this by saying I am not telling you this story, but take it from somebody who had the opportunity and didn't take it. It's a regret I'll carry to the grave.
I give him a side hug.
Thanks.
Well, there's no opportunity to regret, so
You can regret potential. Done that too. She was too young for me.
well, I left Athgar word of how things were with me. He's not responded, so I think that ship has sailed.
Where did you leave it?
In a place he'd be most likely to find it,
Do you know if he did?
with his mentor.
Do you know if he found it?
I haven't asked, no.
Might be a good thing to find out. Assumptions can get you in trouble every time.
Well, what I do know is that he's chosen a path that he has ensured I can't follow. So he's chosen to not have me in his life. I guess if he wants that to be different, then that will be up to him. And whether or not it's something I want will be up to me.
Yeah. Well, he's found a job. That's pretty clear. He's found something that he feels is worthy of his attention and important enough to keep him wherever he is.
Good for him. Just wish he didn't have to burn everything down in the process.
All right, I'm a little confused. He took off,
Yes.
didn't tell anybody where he was going.
He not only didn't tell anyone where he was going, but he ensured we couldn't find out where he was going.
Yeah, I know that. I've tried to scry for him. So, okay. So he basically said, I need to go off on my own and do my own thing. How does that burn anything?
Because he threatened that if I didn't do things his way, he would do this. because he knew this would be the thing that would be the most hurtful. And so that's what he did.
Yeah, you're giving him, I think, more credit than he's due. You're ascribing to him, like, maturity and intelligence about emotions, and have you met Athgar?
Oh, I don't. Until Athgar and Gwen have the opportunity to be in the same room, what we all think is not going to get us anywhere.
Yeah.
We've had many discussions, and Gwen has had more than I think she wants on the subject.
So noted. I'll pull my nose back out of it.
I think we have. While we love you, Gwen, and this is important, I think we have more pressing matters.
I agree.
Speaking of which, stay put. Let me go see if his lordship's awake. If he is, do you all want to go in first, or Aribell, do you want to go in solo first?
I think I'd like to go in first.
Okay.
I don't know that it would help him at all to see me, so I think I'll make myself scarce.
I don't know. You're one of the four.
Yeah, you're one of us. If we're there, he's gonna know you're there.
Sometimes,
If he calls for all of us, I'll go.
well, sometimes people are confused. They go back to an earlier time.
That doesn't necessarily help me either.
He did trust you as the companion to his son, so he may remember you more than us.
I say come with us, but
Whatever you want to do, Gwen.
I will leave it to your best judgment.
Aralahkis just heads out.
I can decide after I see him. Then.
we'll wait for him to come back.
He's only gone a couple minutes. And he sticks his head back in the door. He's awake. So, Aribell, follow me.
I follow him.
He leads you down the hall, up the stairs, into the throne room.
Okay.
There are several other members of the court sort of milling around. It seems that they're all noticeably away from Lord Tremane. Like, he has half the end of the room to himself.
Is he in a chair?
Yeah, he's sitting on his throne. Go ahead. I'll gather up the rabble here and tell him something really important, which I have no idea right now, but I'll make something up.
I walk closer. Does he appear to realize someone is coming?
Let's see. He looks up. Aribell.
Curtsy, Lord Tremane.
Where have you been?
The desert.
And what did you find?
Quite a bit. The rest of the group are waiting to come in. I just asked if I could see you first, if that's okay.
Of course.
May I approach you? I walk up close. How are you feeling?
I don't know. Like I'm dreaming. Like none of this is real. But I know it is.
Take his hand. I'd like to check a few things, if that's okay. I mean, I know some of it they've already done, Jeff, but I'm going to start. I'm going to cast Detect Poison and Disease. Presence, location of poisons, poisonous creatures, and diseases within 30 feet. And then the kind of them, if they are there.
Your spell your senses expand out and you feel that you are sensing extra information, but none of that information is within the range of the spell.
Okay.
In other words, because Annette just gave me a weird look, she's not picking up any poisons or diseases anywhere in the range of her spell, which includes him.
Then I'm going to, since I'm already touching him, I'm going to cast Remove Curse. There's no save or anything.
Right. Hold, please. The spell flows from your hand into his and into his body. He doesn't seem affected at first, and then there is a sudden and he sits up.
I keep holding his hand. Lord Tremane?
The dream. It's gone.
It was a curse. Good job.
Someone cursed you with something.
I had the strangest dream. Many weeks ago. A creature, all white, with eye sockets grown over, whispered something in my ear. And that is when the dreaming began.
The Thuilnu. They have dream magic and abominable white creatures that serve them. I wonder if it might have been them. Is Aralahkis still in the room?
Yeah.
Aralahkis,
Yeah.
you come here.
You see Aralahkis gesturing to people to stay put.
Does he have any need of healing? Does he seem to be, other than, well, maybe now he's just exhausted, right?
Right.
Let's see, that doesn't help.
Do you have any of Zek's acorns?
I do, actually. I was just thinking that. I think I have one. I pull out a little acorn and pop the top off and ask him to drink it.
What is this?
It's a potion that helps stave off the effects of exhaustion for a few hours. You will need to rest, but it should help your head clear, at least temporarily. I have 2 acorns, so now I have 1.
All right. He
4 hours, you gain 1 point.
takes it and drinks it, and color comes back into his face, and his hands, which had been trembling slightly, steady.
I still have the one until he pulls away. There was a curse.
What?
Able to remove it.
But that's not possible. There was no residual magic on him.
All I can tell you is that when I reached out with Shora's help to remove any curses, he cleared, and he could tell me what happened. He seems to be much better, but in need of a nap. Lord Tremane.
I remember you trying, Aralahkis. I remember you examining me. And Aribell, did you mention that you have been in the desert?
Yes.
Or did I dream that? Oh,
No.
good.
I did. Tasha and Zori and Gwenlaryn are waiting in Aralahkis' office. I just asked to see you alone first. See if I could help.
Well, you have. And now I would like to hear this report. Aralahkis, would you fetch the other 3?
You need something to eat, Lord Tremane.
That would not be a bad idea. And coffee.
I'm sure there's someone around.
Yeah, there's a steward that you can beckon over.
Beckon the steward. Can you bring Lord Tremane some breakfast and a lot of coffee, please?
At once.
I'd like to eat.
The steward goes running off. Aralahkis pops back in the office. So, follow me. Walk and talk. Quick update.
I push Gwen with us.
Quick update. Aribell fixed him.
Oh, must have been a curse.
He's alert
Okay.
and wants to hear about the desert from all 4 of you.
Okay.
When he says
There
from
was a
all 4 of
curse.
you, he looks at Gwen.
Oh.
Aribell says there was. But I tell you, I detected 4 magic, and there was no residual magic in his body.
What did he say?
That he remembered me examining him, that it seemed like a dream at the time, and that he wanted to verify that Aribell said you'd all been in the desert. She verified that. He said he wanted to hear the report and to come get the rest of you.
Do you think it was noctomancy?
You know,
could be.
I got something from the tower about that, but I didn't have time to look at it. But what?
Acromancy is dream magic.
I should have thought about that.
Did he say something about a dream?
He did.
Not to me.
Well, he said. You just said that he said
He's felt like he was in a
He
dream.
felt like
Well,
he was in
yeah.
a dream.
Yeah.
We'll have to check.
At this point,
While they're gone.
Aralahkis opens the doors to the room. Okay, so while they're on their way back, Aribell.
They're going to get you some food. I'm going to be over familiar for a moment, and then I'll step back so I don't get in trouble. And I give him a hug and a kiss on the cheek. I'm glad you're okay.
Because of you, I can think again. I think you've earned the right to be familiar.
And squeeze his hand and then step down off to the appropriate, respectful distance.
Okay. At this point, Aralahkis opens the throne room doors and walks back up to where Tremane is sitting. He appears more clear-headed than he did even the last time you saw him.
I cast Detect Anomaly.
Ooh.
Yeah, I was going to do that earlier, but...
You have that as well.
Yeah.
All right. You must touch him to cast that on him.
So I walk up and say, "Pardon me, Lord Tremane. I may be able to be of assistance, but I do need to touch you in order to do so."
Very well.
I lean forward and lightly touch his hand.
An image forms of a slender, almost emaciated figure, bone white from head to toe, wearing a simple white belted long tunic, slightly pointed ears, and flat skin across the eye sockets. White hair, no facial hair. Standing behind Tremane with its fingers on his head. And then the image fades.
And that's the dream?
That's
the
the anomaly that you detect, is that memory has been suppressed.
Dang it, looks like I'm gonna have to up my necromancy spells and do some of them.
Well, I described to the others what I saw. And then
That was the creature that I saw in my dream.
Sounds like a Thuilnu to me.
That's what I thought earlier.
I can cast a spell that will give you protection for a bit, in case someone tries to do this to you again.
I accept.
So I cast Dream Sentinel.
Oh shit.
All right.
It says the duration is special 24 hours.
What does that mean?
Should be in the description.
Yeah.
It just says it creates a protector for the recipient that resides within their subconscious.
Mm-hmm.
It allows a target to make an active opposition roll against any diagnose intrusion, and a bonus equal to the level of the caster +2.
Yeah.
But it doesn't say what makes it special.
Well, it's special in the fact that there is a Noctomancy ability that can remove it if it's detected. Otherwise, as far as the casting of the Dream Sentinel spell, it lasts for 24 hours.
So
I'm gonna have to.
that'll give you that will give you a protector against such dreams or curses for 24 hours, but at least that will give you a bit of a rest.
Yeah, and it will give him a +16 to resist.
Wow.
She's basically created a guardian that is in his subconscious for one purpose and one purpose only: to repel intrusion.
Dang it.
For 24 hours.
For 24 hours.
You may need to stay for a little bit. It was definitely a Thuilnu creature. Had to be. And Noctomancy. We'll see what we can find out.
I guess I should work on my Noctomancy spells.
Seems like that's something that we're up against, so
Mm-hmm.
Well, now I know. Hopefully that will help me resist any other such attempt. I will
For
also
a day.
make certain to have this incident sent out over the Far Signal network, so that the other town leaders and Lord Bonethane can be apprised that such a thing is possible and be on their guard as well. Now,
yes, others should be checked.
I understand that this acorn that Aribell gave me only lasts for a few hours, so please, the desert, what did you find?
Should we tell him everything?
Okay.
Yes, we tell him everything. We
Yeah.
tell him about the Oasis. We tell him about Western Aecathan. We tell him about the creature, the scorpion creatures, and the slaves. But we didn't get any farther than that. We still don't know what they're up to.
Where they're heading, though, we know they're heading to that mountain.
Yeah. When we don't know what's in the mountain.
Well, then I appreciate the update. But the task is not yet complete then.
No, it's not.
We will
Did
need
it-
to return.
Did it seem to you that the path to this western Aecathan was the route the Jogravanan caravans were traveling?
Did it?
I don't remember because they they left and we didn't follow their tracks. We came home immediately.
Tasha would remember with keen mind that Tef did say that they were following the trail that led over the Dune Mount. And that the Dune Mount was essentially the barrier between your part of Aecathan and the other part of Aecathan.
Oh, so they were headed that way.
So we'll tell them that.
Yeah. I think we need to go to Western Aecathan.
I worry that if there is a civilization over there,
Oh, there is.
they may not realize the threat posed by these travelers.
Indeed.
They may have no knowledge of the temple.
It's possible.
Plan was to update Bonethane next. And then I guess we'll be heading back out.
Yes.
But with Zori's abilities, well, others can now would know if something happened again, what to do. But if you need us, Aralahkis can get us a message and we can return immediately.
Understood. Aralahkis, what do you know of this noctomancy?
Not as much as I should. I've got something that came from the tower, but I was kind of busy keeping the city from falling apart.
Understood. Well, I release you. Go find out. And if necessary, travel to the tower and speak to those who wrote this message. Learn as much as you can. And perhaps if you could bring back one or two who have been schooled in this, it would be useful to have them as guards.
That's probably not a bad idea. I don't know if they've got people trained in it yet. I get the feeling it's still pretty new.
Very new.
But I don't know. I'll see. Maybe while I'm there I can get somebody to scribe a couple scrolls so at least we can detect, if not fix.
Do the best you can. Ladies, you've done well. Wait, Aralahkis,
Yes, sir.
did you say you'd heard from Athgar?
Yeah.
So that wasn't a dream.
No, I really did tell you that. Really did hear from him. Not a lot, but he's alive. He's involved in something he considers worthwhile. Seems satisfied by it, but my take, it's also changed him a little.
Changed him? How so?
You know how you've been feeling tired?
Yes.
He sounds tired.
You don't suppose they've gotten to him too?
Oh, shit. I didn't think about that.
Possible.
We had heard from Tasha Pranatiel that he was safe. She had located him, so she didn't tell us where he was, but we could reach out.
Well, I think I've got a handful of sending spells in my future. I need to tell him you're better. Did you tell him that I was unwell? Yeah. And why did you do that? Because if you hadn't gotten any better, we would have needed him to come back and take over. I was that far gone. Yeah. The court was talking about throwing me up as regent until we could get Athgar back. That would have thrown the entire city into chaos. Yeah, I'm well aware.
Zorith doesn't laugh, but Nikki's laughing.
That's... I think the word you're looking for is insidious. Yes, that.
If the Thuilnu and Jogravanans have aligned, that would be very bad.
Indeed. But...
why it's been so quiet. They were waiting.
Perhaps. But just because two things happened at the same time doesn't necessarily mean that they are related to each other. It simply could have been bad timing.
Yes.
Or actually good timing. If this had to happen to me, I'm glad that the Jogravanans were not continually attacking while I was suffering. So perhaps it was fortuitous.
Perhaps.
Lots to think about.
Tomorrow, after you sleep for a day.
I shall. But I still have time before this potion wears off.
Yes.
I will look at reports and see what needs my attention in the next 3 hours, and then I will sleep.
Aribell gives him the mom look.
I'll see that he does.
I'm sure he will.
Well, in more than one way, I'm in your debt.
Athgar is family. So are you.
What a strange sentiment.
We adapt freely.
Yeah, they do. They even adopted me.
Perhaps we're more clan-like than we realized.
Perhaps. He gets a slight, almost mischievous look on his face. Does this mean I'm now part of the Sept?
Oh. Zorith just is like,
We might have to vote.
I'm not sure that we're accepting new members quite yet.
Does he laugh?
He does. He chuckles.
Well, that's good to hear.
Yeah, because Zorith is like super like uncomfortable, like trying to figure out like if he's serious or not, because perception.
Zorith, make an insight check.
Insight. 9.
You think he's serious?
That's why I answered like that, because
You're not sure.
I'm not sure. I mean, he is a king, and like, you know, he's a person that definitely could expect that.
Well, I'm sure we can talk about that at another time. For now, Aralahkis moves up and helps him to his feet. Oh, I can feel that I haven't been moving much lately. Or at all. Yes. Well, that will change. Again, ladies, thank you.
Lord
Let's
Tremane.
go.
If either of you need us, let us know.
Oh yeah, don't worry.
We'll be heading out, Aralahkis, shortly.
All right. Tell Bonethane I said hello.
Okay.
Back to the right.
Aralahkis helps Lord Tremane out. And leaves the four of you standing in the throne room. And this is probably a good place to take a break.
Yeah.
So, we'll probably end up in Aermagh next, I'm guessing. But we'll do that after we come back. So don't go anywhere. We'll see you in 15. And welcome back. So Aralahkis and Lord Tremane have just left the throne room.
Well, I believe we have things to do.
Yes, because we're still in the throne room. So we are going to leave the throne room. Because Aralahkis is not coming back to us, right?
Right.
You have no idea. He left with Lord Tremane.
Yeah, I think
He's like helping him walk, so.
said say hi to Bonethane or something, so I don't think.
Yeah, he did. So are we going
Yeah.
to teleport to Bonethane already, or?
Yes.
Oloric, we'd say goodbye, so.
Oh, that's true.
It's a few hour time, right? Jump when we go?
2.
2 hours, so.
It's
That'll
2
be-
hours later in Aecathan than it is in Thunder's Edge.
Yeah. Mountain time and Eastern time.
Pretty much.
I'm used to it.
It's more like desert time and coastal time in Aecathan, but
Well, yeah.
So we'll go back to the Wrath so we can say goodbye to Oloric. Figure out if we want to torment Wiggy while we're here.
Yeah, is Wiggy there?
you hear him before you see him.
Okay. Gwen, can you sneak up on Wiggy?
Yes, I can.
Do the hand on the shoulder thing without him realizing you're coming. I mean, I don't want to
Sure.
hit him or anything, but I do want him to be
I do that.
All right, make a stealth check.
Is bar one of your favorite terrains?
No.
That should
It
be, though.
should be.
Bar.
That would be a 24.
All right, let's see here. So no bonus. Wow. Well, he got a 20. But that's not good enough.
Wow.
As you creep in, Wiggy is talking to Oloric, who's behind the bar, and being himself, but every 6 or 7 seconds he does this.
Constantly looking over his shoulder.
Fortunately for you, he didn't look in the right place to see you coming.
So I just sneak up to where he is, grab his shoulder firmly, and say, "Wiggle him."
Ah! I said I was sorry.
Hello.
I said I was sorry.
Now, what makes you think that we need protecting?
It's the frickin' desert. There's like giant nasty things out there. You should know. You used to go out there all the time.
The rest of us are going to come out.
Exactly. And we're the freaking 4.
Yeah, but you only, was just kind of like around Thunder's Edge out in the desert. Tremane had you all going out into
Hanging
like
out in
the
desert. It's
the
kinda
deep
kind of my
deep
jam.
desert, and I didn't know what was out there, and I was worried.
Wiggy,
Next time you're worried, ask.
Wiggy.
What?
So you thought something that could take out the 4 of us that Cannath could take on by himself?
No. I just wanted you to have backup. I wanted somebody out there to, to watch your back, and if you got in over your heads, maybe, lend enough support that you could get out of it. One more sword.
Your heart was in the right place.
But
I thought so.
don't do it again.
Well, Yeah, Cannath won't even talk to me at this point, so I don't think that's going to be a problem.
Right, but with anyone else.
That there's nobody else that I could send that would actually be of help.
If we are going into a situation that we don't think the four of us can handle, I promise we will ask one of our friends to come with us as backup.
But how do you know? I mean, you didn't know what was out there.
Neither did you.
No, that's why I asked him to go. But I figured better safe than sorry. Although I am sorry.
The terms of the agreement were not very helpful.
You didn't tell him he was protecting or coming with the four.
Didn't
And
I?
he was an ass.
No, you didn't.
Well, he's not a people person. But he's good at what he does.
We're good
That's
at what we
why I
do,
hired him.
too.
But maybe a different approach for the future would be, I care a lot about you all. I'm worried about you. I have a friend who might be an extra sword if you're interested in extra help. Instead of somebody stalking us from afar. I mean, we could have killed him.
Phew, not likely.
He could have been a liability. And in fact, in one situation, he was a liability.
Definitely a liability.
Well, I didn't worry so much, and I understand. I've already been yelled at about this, that it sounds sexist, but I wasn't as worried when Atgar was with you.
Yeah, that's very sexist.
And also,
But I don't mean it like that. I simply mean that there was, somebody outside of the four of you to help watch your backs.
But
Yeah.
we've done a lot
No.
of things without Athgar. Like saving all the dragons.
Yeah, you kind of had a god with you at that point. So
The
I'm not
only
quite sure
person-
that counts as, not having somebody watching your back. That's kind of a big somebody
Yeah.
watching your back.
We had to watch Athgar's back. He's the one that died. He wouldn't even be here if it weren't for us.
Yeah, that's true.
All right.
Anyway,
We appreciate the fact that you are worried about us. We do. But you have to tell us. You have to be upfront with us and trust that we know what we're doing.
Well, I didn't think about it until after you guys was gone. So how was I going to tell you?
Well, Oloric has a sending stone.
You do? I hadn't told him that.
Oh, I'm sorry. Come up with a way to communicate with us. Be creative.
Well, now I know I can just ask him.
I'm really
oh,
sorry.
no, you can't. Unless it's an emergency.
It has to be an absolute emergency.
Well, see, then I wouldn't have used it to tell you guys that I'd sent Cannath along, because that wasn't an emergency.
Well, but you should
all right,
before you do it.
that's it. We're done. It's over. You made a big mistake. You're sorry for it. I don't know what faith you have in us, but give us a little more credit and don't do it again.
It had nothing to do with...
Stop.
Oloric, will you explain this to them? It had nothing to do with faith and what you can do, what you can't do.
Stop.
I was worried and I wanted to help. I screwed up.
Your efforts are appreciated. If you repeat them, we'll totally kick your ass.
Noted. I'm going back to work.
Okay.
Say hi to Jerry Ann for us.
He just kind of shuffles out.
Oh boy.
It was so bad.
I'm very sorry.
Well, maybe I can convince him he was drunk and dreamed the whole thing up.
Okay.
Just act like you don't know what he's talking about.
Well, I suppose at least he has to ask, so
That is true.
I can always say no.
That
Without-
is true.
Without giving away details that aren't ours to share, you should worry less about the problem we discussed earlier. Things are better.
Oh. Oh, good. Well, I'm glad to hear that. With as on edge as the city is, they didn't need that as well.
No. Things should hopefully get a little more normal.
So the Jogravanans are going to start attacking again.
Oh. Don't tell Wiggy, but we'll probably be heading back out to the desert soon.
To this oasis.
No.
Well, we'll pass through. We'll have to.
Oh, you're going further into the desert.
Yes.
Well, we can teleport to the furthest place that we've seen because we don't have to get that far on foot again.
Oh, that's
That would be the oasis.
Yeah. So that'll save us a few days, but we need to get back out and find out what the Jogravanans are doing. We might be heading towards Western Aecathan if you want to close up the bar and come.
I won't lie and say I'm not tempted. But I probably shouldn't.
We understand.
At this point, the only person that I could possibly leave in charge would be Wiggy.
Oh.
I would leave Jerry Ann in charge before we.
If she has time.
Oh.
That's right. Now she's taken over his
Yes.
commitments. That's right.
She's a good woman.
Of that we can agree.
I feel like instead of dressing down Wiggy, we could have just told Jerry Ann what he did and then let her handle it.
I could still do that.
I think we gave him what for.
Thank
And
you.
Gwen took a year off his life, which was
Thank you. You've just given me the response to can I use your sending stone?
I will tell Jerry Ann about Cannath.
Do you want me to tell Jerry Ann about Cannath? Never mind. Oh, good.
Glad to be of assistance. We're heading to Aermagh.
All right. Yes, I'm sure the Lord needs to know, especially about the possibility of contact with that other civilization. Well,
We are gonna have to go though.
Yeah.
Oloric walks out from behind the bar and goes up to give Aribell a hug. Offers one to Gwen, if she wants it.
Hug him back.
Hugs Tasha,
I will hug him too.
and he holds you just a little longer than he did the others.
Yeah. I hug him back.
Kisses you on the cheek. Be well. Be safe.
He'll be fine.
And I hope you find your way back to the west.
We will.
If you do, let me know and I will tell you everything I can remember about the the people I met.
Great. Thank you.
Could serve as a means of introduction.
It definitely could. Looking for those people specifically.
Yes. Although Gwen knows them too.
Yes. I'll remind her. I give him another hug. And, how busy is it?
Let's see, this would be probably right before lunch, so chances are pretty good it's not busy yet, although it's going to be in a few minutes.
Okay, so I'm just going to do a teleportation circle in the back corner like usual.
Okay.
Do we need to tell them? We don't need to tell them anymore, right? The only place we really need to tell is Master Oberys and the school, just so they know, right?
Yeah.
When we teleport in, that's the only one that we really need to actually tell.
And if you teleport into Tremane's
Sanctum.
Keep.
Oh, yeah, the Tremane's Keep. Okay.
The
But
Sanctum, you don't need to tell. Your personal one, obviously, you don't need to tell. And Aermagh, you
Right,
don't
so
need to tell.
we won't probably ever come into Tremane's Keep. We'll just go to the house.
Right.
Yeah.
Unless
So.
it's an emergency.
All right, so I'm gonna take us over to Bonefane's. Right. Teleportation circle. Okay.
10 minutes later. Two startled guards. Oh.
Hi.
Hello. Welcome. Is there anything you need?
We'll be needing to speak to Lord Bonethane. If possible, for us to put on his schedule.
You'll need to talk to his seneschal for that.
We'll go see Lord Harriman.
I was just thinking, like, whatever you thought. Okay, thanks. I thought you just meant general overall, whatever. But I'm just walking away.
The path up out of the keep is as you remember it. Although this time the path is slightly different, as you're not actually exiting the keep. You're headed for Lord Harriman's office. Couple wrong turns, because you've not done this before. But in short order, the familiar sight of sort of the workers' bullpen outside of Lord Harriman's office comes into view.
Okay.
We shall knock.
He's sitting at his desk, looks up. Oh. Welcome back. Is this a social visit, or are you scheduling?
We need to report.
Very well. If you will wait, I will see if his lordship is available.
Lord Harriman,
Yes.
has his lordship been acting normal?
What a strange question. Yes, as far as I know.
No bouts of insomnia or...
Occasional, but he has had occasional bouts of insomnia as long as I have been the seneschal.
Tremane said they were going to send the message via Farland, right? Of what happens. So they may not know yet, right? Okay.
Or it may just not have trickled down to him yet.
Okay. Thanks.
I will return shortly.
Thank you.
And after about 5 minutes, he does so.
His lordship is currently meeting with a trade envoy. He says if you can return in an hour, he will be able to meet with you.
Well, I guess we could go see Jojo.
Yeah.
Thank you. Should we come back here or wait?
Yes, come back to me and I shall escort you up to his lordship's chambers.
Thank you.
And so we head on out.
Yeah, he goes back in his office, sits down, and goes back to reading.
Excellent. We head out to Jojo's.
Okay. The streets are fairly busy for mid-morning. There are some looks of recognition from people that you pass. And some quick murmured conversations when they figure out the Four is back in town. But nothing to impede you as you make your way to the Shouting Pirate.
How long has it been? Like a week? Frick. I'm not gonna lie, it's so funny flitting from place to place to place. It's hard to remember when we were here last. So we've been in the desert about a week.
Yeah.
So potentially about a week.
A week, maybe a week and a half, yeah.
We left right after the Dragon Festival, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The Shouting Pirate sounds like there are people inside as you get near the door.
So you said mid-morning, or is it mid? It was almost lunch in Thunder's Edge, right? So it's after lunch,
Mid-afternoon.
mid-after or early afternoon.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I'm doing the math the other direction. Yeah, so it's mid-afternoon.
Okay.
Probably about 2:15, 2:30. Doesn't sound like a huge crowd, but there are people.
Wander in.
Wandering.
Interesting. It appears that there is a bet currently going on. And in the far corner, near your table, a sailor is trying to entice Synchron with a piece of fish.
Oh, goodness.
I'm just gonna stand and watch it play.
Yep.
Jojo is standing behind the bar, just arms crossed, watching.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna step in the door and step over to the side and do the same thing.
Happens to glance over and notice your entrance and just goes, behind the sailor, obviously fellow shipmates are rapidly exchanging bets and kind of urging him on.
Oh my goodness.
And it seems that part of the betting has to do with how close this person can get before they're bloodied.
Oh.
Oh, that's not good.
Oh no.
The piece of fish crosses the plane of the edge of the table. There is a angry yowl, and the young man reels back. There is a scratch. 3 claw marks
Oh.
diagonally down the face, missing both eyes, but only barely.
Oh.
And the sailors and immediately start exchanging money.
Oh my god, that's hilarious.
One of them turns around and immediately blanches and spins back around and is like, and suddenly it gets very quiet as all of the sailors have turned around to look in your direction, with some of them look scared, some of them look ashamed, some of them just look like, you know, their mom just caught them stealing cookies.
Oh my god.
And they are all just kind of standing there looking at you like, oh crap.
I'd like to walk up to the gentleman who just got scratched.
Okay.
Hi.
Hello.
What's your name?
Hello.
Would it be all right if I take care of that for you?
What you mean the scratches?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd guess maybe from Aribell's would probably be able to tell how much damage there is.
Yeah, about 3 hit points worth of
Okay,
damage.
yeah. I'd say no more than 5 is my guess. So, she'll just gently
You'll never learn.
touch near the scratches, not on the scratches, and heal him for 3 hit points.
Okay. And he thanks.
Don't mess with the cat.
Yeah, I won't. Not again.
You should go back to your friends, who aren't really great friends.
They're alright. I volunteered.
Are you new here?
I've been here before.
So you knew better.
Oh, I don't know. The ship's cat likes me. I figured I'd give it a go.
You won't try again, though.
No.
I reach over, put my hand out, and see if Synchron comes to me.
Well, he's pretty far away from the table, this guy.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
So, Synchron is standing on the edge of the table, tail.
Did you finish your lunch?
Are you talking to Arlo?
Yeah.
You should finish your drink.
Okay.
He walks back over. His shipmates seem to be reaching out to touch his face where the swipe was. Like they're like, wow, it's really healed.
Boys. It's always boys.
I go over to Jojo. Tell him hi.
It's good to see you.
How long has that been going on?
Once in a while, they find somebody stupid enough or they raise enough money to say, give it a go. It's just a cat. It can't hurt that much. So, come on and sit. I'll grab drinks and be right over.
I'll sit down.
As will I.
As you all sit, Synchron, still on the edge of the table, goes.
I know, baby. I'm sorry.
And then
and I put my hand out like this.
Turns and walks over to Zorath and
I give him some scritches like I'm supposed to, and all of those chun ruffles and scritches.
a few of the sailors are watching and just kind of like,
Damn it.
yeah. Jojo comes over with a tray of drinks. Tea for Aribell and cider for everybody else. Non-alcoholic. Just refreshments. Sits it down, grabs a chair, flips it around, plops down. So, what brings you back?
Oh.
I've been aching for a good tale.
Well, we're killing time. But
Meeting with Bonethane in an hour. Well,
Reporting to his lordship, huh?
But we tell him about the Draculich.
His eyes get very wide.
And we tell him about the Jogravanans and the...
You say that word for the first time, and he just automatically turns and spits on the floor.
Yeah, and the scorpion things and...
You do have some adventures.
feels a lot longer than a week since we saw you. Or,
It's been about 10 days, actually.
yeah. Well, it feels like months.
I can understand that. You've gone through enough that any sane person, if they dealt within a month, would still be shaking in their boots.
Keep thinking we're gonna take a break.
I keep thinking that too.
We kind of took a break. We took a couple days off for Dragon Fest.
Aye,
But
you
there's
did.
so many things to do.
There's always something to do.
That's true.
Well, might interest you to know that VS has made some inroads with the Platinum Hammer.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Managed to get somebody on the inside.
Good for her.
So she's been learning all about who they are and what they're doing and how to bollocks up the works.
We are happy to leave that in her very capable hands.
Yeah.
Indeed.
She's got plans. She won't tell me what they are, but she's got plans. That's
Probably
clear.
Better that way, Jojo.
She always has
I
plans.
know. Just sometimes I like to be involved, even if it's just hearing.
Well, you know.
Yeah, I know. It's what I get for falling for a woman like her.
True. She has her secrets.
Aye. But I'm knowing a few of them now.
Mm. Well, that's lovely.
Well, I think it's kind of how she says I love you, to be honest.
I think that might be accurate.
He's letting you in.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm making certain to let her know that I'm grateful.
Have there been any dragon sightings?
Only the good ones.
Excellent.
And there's a weird thing starting up. Anytime one of the good ones flies over, people spill out into the streets cheering and waving.
Oh, that's nice.
So the festival was a success.
It is nice and it'll be great until one of those fucking evil dragons figures out to change the color of their scales and then just strafe down the road.
I don't know if they can.
Man,
I wouldn't put it past them.
they can turn into a humanoid. I would expect they can do other things, right?
Who knows?
Ooh, have we ever seen a evil dragon turn into a humanoid?
We don't know.
Not in the last 30 days that you're aware of.
Huh.
That's as far back as your keen mind goes.
We might have and not known it was a dragon.
True.
Yeah, that's entirely possible.
I don't recall seeing one like transform from an evil dragon or from a person into a dragon. I don't think.
Is there a way you'd be telling? If you ran across one of those evil ones and looking like an elf or looking like a human, could you tell?
Gwen might be able to sense a dragon.
Would I be able to tell?
Maybe.
I say maybe. Gwen might have a better chance than myself, actually, but maybe.
Your primeval awareness or something like that lets you. Yeah.
I can do that.
Well, do you tell Jojo about Gwen's family?
Only if Gwen does. That's her story to tell.
Sure.
Okay.
I'm excited about it. I'll tell anybody that will listen.
Sounds to me like your grandfather and I'd get along just fine. He sounds like
Probably.
my kinda old rascal.
Maybe the two of you can meet sometime.
Well, I definitely want to see this Oasis before I die.
It's really impressive.
Sounds like. And out there, all alone in the middle of the desert, and they've made a work of it.
They have indeed.
Indeed.
They flourish.
Yeah. Yeah. Someday, I'll end up out there.
I hope so.
But in the meantime, where are you headed after you meet with his lordship?
The
Back
desert.
to the desert.
Why?
We still need
More
to
to
find
do.
out what they're doing.
Oh, Well, better you than me. I wouldn't want to be out there. I much prefer the water.
We know.
Yeah. Any place where water's that scarce. This sounds unpleasant.
And it is. But it's also beautiful.
I suppose.
I mean, it's really, the Oasis is beautiful.
Yes.
Oh, I imagine so.
The sand is, it's like being on the ocean when you can't see anything but that same thing over and over and over again. So it's just same.
Somehow I don't quite think I'd find it as beautiful as I remember the ocean being.
Oh no, the sand is not beautiful. The Oasis is beautiful. The sand is horrible. Like, it's just,
Unrelenting.
yeah.
Stark, but beautiful in its starkness.
Well, I suppose traveling over it on a flying carpet is probably a lot better than going horseback or camelback.
True.
Very much so.
Well, not a lot's been going on here. Pretty much just the army's gearing up for something. Not quite sure what. But I know what it looks like when they mobilize. And they're mobilizing ships.
Ships.
Yay.
Interesting.
Why would they be doing that?
You got me. I'm thinking maybe they figured out where those damn orcs are out there on the ocean. And they're gonna go sink them.
Could be.
That'd be the best.
That's dangerous.
Aye, but it's the army. It's what they get paid for. And besides, I've noticed there have been some folks from the tower coming through. So they're going out with magic wielders.
Good. That is necessary.
Aye. I mean, any ship worth its salt has got one or two on board already, but these ones look pretty serious. So I'm guessing they're not along for fun. But maybe if you're real charming, you can convince his lordship to tell you what the hell he's doing.
Maybe.
Ask.
Well, if you got time and you find out, I'd love to know.
If it seems like we can tell you, we will.
Fair enough. I live with that every day.
We're at liberty to say.
Right. Well, I don't want to keep you. I don't want to make you late.
Pull out some money for the drinks.
Oh, don't even. You paid in the story.
Oh.
It's worth more to me than the money anyway.
Only
Well-
because you served us and not one of the ladies.
Well,
on tipping them.
oh, absolutely. It's a bit of pride on my part that if someone comes in and mentions the Four, I can say, oh, aye, they're friends of mine. Let me tell you about their latest adventure.
The Dracoledge.
And I spin them a tale that's just enough truth that if they check, it'll bear out. But
I like it.
I definitely embellish some, because I figure you don't want them knowing all your business.
Well, we appreciate that.
And
Yeah, that's smart.
if you come off seeming a bit more experienced and deadly than maybe you are yet, keeps the rabble-rousers off your doorstep.
Mm.
All right, off with you.
See you soon.
I hug him.
He hugs you back.
Same.
Me too.
Yeah, definitely hugs all around. Same crane. Keep our table safe. And
One tail flick.
what was it he used to say? Up top? Is that what Airman said?
Yep.
Yeah.
Up
And
top.
he just cocks his head for a moment and then pop.
I'm expecting him to like walk all the way around the edge of the table. Just like,
Sentry duty.
yeah.
Look at the group of sailors, shake my head disapprovingly, and head to the door.
Yeah, nice. I like it.
Chastised.
A few of them actually hang their heads.
As well they should.
I look at the sailors and I say, please understand that that cat is way more dangerous than almost anything you've encountered. And the fact that no one was maimed was his way of being nice to you. And then I leave.
You leave to dead
We should
silence.
thank him for his mercy. And refer to him henceforth as Lord Synchron.
Lots of wide eyes, like, oh shit. And Jojo's behind the bar doing this. The trip back to the keep is uneventful. Lord Harriman is actually waiting for you. Ah, good. Right on time. Excellent. Follow me. Up through the keep to Lord Bonthane's throne room. The doors are already open, and there are a few people still milling around inside, but Bonethane is not in his throne. He's actually standing behind a table that's been placed about 5 feet in front of the throne. And he's standing there leafing through a couple pieces of parchment. Without looking up, he says,
Harriman, what's next?
The Four. And then he looks up.
Well, if it isn't my favorite adventurers.
Curtsy.
Wow.
I give my most formal curtsy.
Not,
You know what I do.
not bad. Not bad, Lady Duneshadow. That's coming along quite nicely.
Still can't get it.
You know,
Approach, approach.
Sir.
Ugh, trade delegations. Not exactly my favorite thing in the world. So, To what do I owe this visit?
Well,
Several things.
several things.
I'm all ears.
I tell him of what we were tasked by Lord Tremane. I tell him of the Oasis. I tell him of Western Aecathan. I tell him of the Jogravanans and the slaves, and the setting free of the slaves. And then I look at Aribell and say, did I miss anything?
Have you seen the messages from Thunder's Edge today?
I have.
Have,
Disturbing.
have you had any dreams?
No.
Would you allow us to check and see if you've been affected?
You can do that.
When and I can. Just see if your memory's been modified, and that's how we were able to confirm.
Sure. Go right ahead.
I reach out. I'll have to touch you. So I will touch him on the hand and cast Detect Anomaly.
The spell returns a blank slate. So, no, there does not appear to be any Dakegoth-related anomalies in Lord Bonethane.
Share that.
I told you, I'm fine.
Um,
I do occasionally have a little trouble sleeping, but usually that's after a particularly long day and too much on my mind.
It was a rather gradual decline for Lord Tremane, so
I'm very glad to know that you were able to cure him. This is exactly the wrong time to have chaos and weakness in our southwestern border. I distrust this silence from the Jogravanans.
we're getting ready to head back to the desert.
I believe we will end up going to Western Aecathan. We can scout, and if what I believe to be there is there, when we return, you should consider sending a formal delegation.
I'll start planning for that.
But if the Jogravanans are headed there, we don't know what we'll find.
They're something. They're definitely up to no good.
Yes, it's true. We may end up saving more slaves. There seems to be many of them.
I want to commend you on your actions and your instincts, but I also need to warn you. To this point, you've been a nuisance to the Jogravanans. That activity, saving those slaves, likely raised your profile.
I'm sure.
They're going to be seeking revenge.
Noted. Should we save more slaves? We will need help housing them, feeding them, training them, helping them get on their feet. I propose that you consider creating a Freed Persons Bureau, an organization specifically tasked with helping freed people get on their feet.
Do you have ideas on how exactly that would work?
It would be an organization that helped find housing for them, gave them some starting money, and perhaps trained them with some kind of working skill that they could use.
Apprentice them somewhere.
Yeah, apprentice them somewhere.
Well, I do know at the moment, although it might be a bit of a culture shock for them, there are very few people remaining in Belinamard. That town definitely needs to be repopulated, although I don't know how they would feel about joining a northern barbarian community.
Yeah.
Especially since that's I know that it's cooler up there, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, they've been in the desert for a zillion years, so they may not be able to
I think...
tend to that.
Lives.
Yes, I think for now, the best thing I can do, I'll investigate this idea of yours.
Okay. Thank you.
For now, I will send money, supplies, and assistance to the Sanctum.
Yes.
Thank you.
And I will definitely open negotiations with them to see if this is something they wish to take on more than this once. And if so, determine what additional resources they would need, and then I will speak to the other town leaders across the country and see what we can do to supply it. So for now, I believe you were correct. The Sanctum is probably the best place to take them. And I am encouraged that someone from the Citadel is coming to assist them, because espionage is a legitimate worry.
We were taken in by a Jogravanan spy once, so they're very skilled.
Yes. Well,
I think that's everything.
Yes, I think so too.
Bonethane seems to be thinking.
Harriman,
Yes, my lord.
I need parchment, ink, quill, and my seal.
Of course, my lord. Just a moment, I shall fetch them.
I'm gonna scribble out a basic writ of authority and assign you as the initial contact delegation.
Ah,
Harriman brings back the stuff, and Bonethane takes the parchment and the quill and the ink and starts writing. Writes for a couple minutes and then grabs a candle and drips it onto the parchment, and then grabs this stamp and presses it into the wax. Blows on it, holds it up.
Not the most elegant thing I've ever written, but it will do.
and hands it to Tasha. And it basically says that it has all 4 of your names, and it identifies you as official representatives of the nation of Aecathan, and specifically representatives of the leader of Aecathan, and then signs his name and then the stamp. I don't assume that they're going to know me from, a goblin. But at least it looks official, and will hopefully look official to them. It might open a couple doors.
This is useful, thank you, sir.
Now, I have a question for Lady Aribell. How fares the situation at the Dawn?
We were there just before the festival, and things were proceeding well. Sanctum is sending representatives to help build the temple, and we'll be checking in with Lena soon to see how things are going.
If you've time, if you could check in with them in person before you head back to the desert, just to make certain. I know that situation is still in flux, and I'm afraid the rumors about the doppelganger are still spreading.
I do share what we learned about that.
Mm-hmm. And I've sent out a clarification on the Far Signal Network and advised the military bards, at least, to dispel that myth, but it does seem to fester.
Yes.
All right. Well, then we will go there before we head back out into the desert.
All right. Well, once again, good work. It's very possible that you are going to be making contact with cities and cultures that we might be able to enlist as allies in our war against the dragons. That in itself would be invaluable.
We'll do our best.
I know you will. All right. I have to finish reading the trade negotiation documents. I'm supposed to meet back up with those vipers in about 2 hours.
Well, we won't keep you.
Thank you for fitting us in.
Of course. Travel safely.
Be careful.
Always.
Off we go.
Lord Harriman leads you back out. As he approaches the doors out of the keep, he stops and turns. I overheard something of what you said, and since you were first here, I have read the far signal message from Thunder's Edge. Is there anything specifically that I should be looking for as a sign that his lordship might have succumbed to these creatures?
Lord Tremane mentioned feeling like he was dreaming. He wasn't unable to sleep. He grew more muddled, his thinking. He wasn't thinking clearly. I was able to remove the effects with a remove curse spell. Making sure a cleric or paladin should be able to fairly decent level. I mean, it won't take extraordinary training, but the Sanctum would be able to help if there's not anybody here.
No, I'm certain there are people here who can do that.
So,
But I thank you for the information. I can say with no fear of contradiction that thus far his lordship has shown no sign of any of that.
we didn't detect anything either, so.
Excellent.
But it certainly doesn't hurt to be vigilant.
I shall. Rest assured, if I see even the slightest signs, I will summon help. Thank you, and good luck in your travels.
So the dawn we have, and were we going back to the Sanctum before we left?
Yeah.
I mean, we need to like take some resting time before we head on out to Western Aecathan. We need to get a fucking plan.
Yeah. What time is it?
At this point, it's late afternoon.
I think we should spend the night here.
And stay at Gwen's?
Yeah,
Yeah.
if possible.
You certainly could.
And then
Stay at Gwen's fancy house.
And then we can head to the dawn in the morning.
Check in at the
We've done a lot today.
Yeah, then check in at the Sanctum and then head to the Oasis.
Yes, I like that plan.
On to the Oasis. Woohoo!
So I think we head to the chateau.
Gwen's house.
State.
Gwen's
Estate. My mistake. Gwen's estate.
Home of Duneshadow.
She's so bougie.
Right.
She's so beautiful. Is she Diane Carroll bougie? Sorry. That was all over Twitter yesterday.
Yeah.
Or the other day.
Yes.
Love meal from her chef.
Yeah.
All right.
It'll be good to see everyone again.
The roads from the keep to Gwen's estate, it doesn't take long to get there. And approaching the new gates are in place. And are locked.
I approach the gates.
Okay.
Does anyone appear?
Uh-oh.
Then I will go up to the gates and say, "Hello, the house."
Hello, the street.
It is I, Lady Duneshadow.
Oh,
It is she,
Crap.
Lady Duneshadow.
just a minute, your ladyship.
You hear the sound of keys, and then a bolt being pulled back, and the doors open, and you see one of your guards.
How do you know it's really me?
Oh my god.
You look like her.
Yes, but we should have some kind of a code word that only I would know to tell you.
Yeah, I got nothing.
Sorry, that's funny.
Well, it was your idea. You should come up with a code word.
I lean forward and I whisper a code word in his ear.
Her ear.
Sorry, her
Yeah,
ear.
this is Denora. Oh, that'll do.
So now she knows the code word, right?
Right.
And I say, would you please allow me and my companions to enter?
What's the code word?
I whisper it in her ear again.
Right you are, your ladyship.
I'm so impressed with the new gates and the heightened security. You've done a fabulous job.
They did a good job with the gates. Well, after you.
Thank you. And I'll march up to the front door.
Your foot hits the second of 5 steps and the door opens. And there stands Tosk.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. And welcome home, your ladyship.
How has everything been in my absence?
Quiet. Well, when the workers were not here.
Everything looks wonderful.
The gate, as you see, has been completed, as has the Widow's Watch.
Excellent. And have you found any additional guards?
Yes. We are now a household of 4 guards. Denora and Vok guard during the day. The other 2 guard during the nighttime hours, as both of them possess dark vision.
Excellent. I'm very impressed with all you've accomplished in my absence, and everything looks wonderful.
Good.
Please let every member of the staff know how pleased I am.
I shall. Will you be staying for dinner?
Yes, if that's okay. We expect nothing elaborate, just family. But
I will
You do
alert Kaelin.
wonderful. We do intend to stay the night.
I shall also alert Girta.
Thank you. It's good to be home.
It is good to have you back. Now, if you will excuse me,
And we
I will go inform
get settled
both
in.
ladies. All right. As you settle in, once again basking in the elegance that is Duneshadow Estate, that's where we're going to stop for the evening. And we'll pick back up with dinner and then whatever happens the
dinner.
following day
Oh gosh.
for the 100th episode.
100 episodes.
Oh my gosh.
Woo!
Yes.
The party.
Yes.
Doo-doo-doo.
So, thank you all for watching. We do appreciate you giving us your eyes and your ears for a few hours. Remember, now we have monkeypox to worry about as well as COVID. So,
You see?
just do what you need to do to keep yourself and everyone you care about safe. That's all we can do at this point. But don't feel bad if you need to wear gloves. Wear gloves. If you need to wear a mask. Do whatever you have to. Just stay healthy, and hopefully you'll be able to join us next Tuesday night for our 100th episode. And let us welcome you back for the 100th time
Ooh.
to the lands of Aecathan. Good night, everybody. See you next week.